with you, you best friend. Welcome. We're coming to you live from downtown Los Angeles, from City Hall, Occupy LA, which has really grown by leaps and bounds. As you know, this has become really the forefront of where it's happening today. There have been explosive things going on in Portland, Seattle. We have issues in Berkeley. The cops have run amok. But here in Los Angeles, it's been a highly disciplined situation so far. I'm just going to get my mic turned up a little bit. How's that? A little bit better. There we go.
Better.
And so one of the things that's going on here is because it is a proposably a non-violent situation here. And by all stretches, by all means, and by all disciplines, no matter what, nobody is going to react to the cops. So it's worked out well. Likewise, the police in LA are actually siding with the occupiers. Why? Because the police know that their bosses are trying to remove the police pensions. So unlikely folks have gotten together. Probably the last and most famous time we saw this was in the 1980s when West Hollywood was formed, when Soviet ex-Russians or Russian ex-Soviets joined gays and came up with a city. Two people that wouldn't normally have a glass of wine together. And so we're seeing a lot of unholy unions brought together by definite necessity. So we're here in Occupy LA. We're going to be talking to a few people who finally can crystallize for you why Occupy LA is happening. Now, I know if you're listening on FM, on public radio, you already have an idea. You have a clear concept of why Occupy LA, Occupy Wall Street, Occupy everywhere, Occupy Zurich, Switzerland exists. But for those of you who aren't clear, because your mainstream diet is the Los Angeles Times or CNN or even MSNBC, it's still a bit unclear why. You know that the people are dancing without shirts. You know that people are living in tents. You know that somebody might have had an orgasm somewhere along the line. That's what you know. When the corporate mainstream media has gone to these Occupy movements, they always ask the same question. What do you think of the guy dancing with no shirt? How come you're playing dance music? Where did you get the incense? Who does your hair? Who does your nails? It's much like the Oscars. And so it's very hard for somebody in Michigan to fully wrap his head around. We're going to get down, crystallize, encapsulate the point of this, the plot of the play. We're also streaming live video right now at GoHarrison.com. Jump on that, GoHarrison.com, and you can see where we are. You're also going to see the people we're going to be interviewing. A couple of people we're going to be talking to. Ed Brotherton, he's with Occupy LA. Also a man named Mario, and he's in charge of the blogging and the print journalism. There actually is a media tent here, and these are media people, independent media people, getting the message out as unbiased and as unvarnished as they're able, along with PJ, who's the publicity coordinator, who is an activist from West Hollywood. I happen to walk my dog with her, and it turns out she's wildly involved. So people from all over Earth. LA, importantly, is going to become the new nexus of this thing. Why? Because people on the East Coast who are freezing their butts off, snowflakes falling, people are starting to relocate and come to LA because the weather is clement here. Much like the Dust Bowl, go to California, where the land is better and more favorable. Well, people are going to be coming here. So Occupy LA is going to get huge, to be sure. Also want to point out we're going to be beta testing something today at 5 o'clock Pacific time. 5 o'clock Pacific time. If you go to GoHarrison.com, we're going to be doing a Harrison's Hangout, where we're going to review some of the stories of the day, but you get to participate. So instead of using an old-fashioned landline phone call, you'll use a Google Circle or any other thing, but go to GoHarrison.com. It's all very easily explained there, and you can participate, and we'll roundtable the news events of today. But really, it's about your voice. And since we don't have phone lines set up out here, I cannot take your live calls, but I want desperately your voice to be heard. So 5 p.m. today, go to GoHarrison.com, where we are streaming live video right now. Go to GoHarrison.com, and we're going to do a live Harrison's Hangout, and you are going to be featured there. We last week did it. We had people from England, from Europe, from all over the world wanting to know what the economy is like here, what's actually going on, what we think of our politicians. So your chance to get that information out. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're going to talk to Maria Armoudian, a name you know very well from KPFK. As you know, most recently, officially, Global warming statistics have surpassed worst case scenario. Even the Pentagon is now saying, it's real, it's here, it ain't seemingly going away. Well, she's written a book about this, and it's going to reveal Rupert Murdoch's personal complicity in this. So we're going to be talking to her in just a few moments. I also want to acknowledge all the wonderful people that texted in last week for copies of the Star Trek movie of Gods and Men. We're going to be having on Tim Russ, who played Tuvok in Star Trek Voyager. He's going to talk about politics and America from the perspective of a guy deeply involved in Star Trek. So basically through a Gene Roddenberry filter, also premiering that movie. That's coming up in the next few weeks. So check GoHarrison.com to find out when you're going to want to talk to Tim Russ. You're going to want to bond with other Trekkers. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. And very important, Gene Roddenberry was as Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, girly man. Gene Roddenberry was a World War II bomber pilot, right, who had an incredible spiritual awakening and realized that he had to be responsible in his personal storytelling to try to change the world around, hence the birth of the original Star Trek. So this many iterations later, a lot of these guys are showing up, and so Tim Russ is going to be here for you. And again, I want to thank everyone who texted in for the prizes last week. Thank you. I know there were so many of you that we just didn't have enough, but thank you for doing that. And you are in our hopper for stuff to come. So just know that we really appreciate that vitally. Let's now go to Maria Armoudian. We have her online, and she is somewhere in Los Angeles. Maria, welcome to Go Harrison.
Harrison, it's so good to be with you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
And welcome to Occupy LA.
Wow, I'm there remotely. I'm so excited.
In delicious monophonic AT&T sound, by the way.
Oh, there
Although
you go.
delicious and AT&T really shouldn't be put in the same sentence. Now, let's just jump on in this before we talk to folks here at Occupy LA. Very importantly, and Mercy Malik actually was one of the people who broke the story a week ago, that global warming statistics, climate change statistics, have surpassed worst case scenario. Not only is it real, but cataclysmic. The horse is definitely through the barn door and trotting away. Now we understand the CIA has taken an interest.
Well, the CIA has taken an interest for a very long time. It's just that they're a secret agency, and so they're not disclosing what they are doing and what their studies have done. And what's occurring now in terms of the CIA is that the Defense Science Board is asking them to stop being so secretive and share the intelligence that it has been gathering on climate change. So all of the defense agencies recognize that defense-related entities recognize the problem that all people are facing when climate change catastrophes occur in a greater and greater number. We've already been seeing massive changes just if you just look at one country alone, the United States. But the problem that we're facing, Harrison, is that the public is still not completely convinced. Now, if you look over the last few years, you'll see that in 2007, the public really wanted policymakers to go in and do something significant that would make an impact on climate, a positive impact. They understood climate change. They understood the reality of it. They understood the science of it. Now, why is that? Well,
that's exactly the point. And Maria, just off air, just to get this thing compressed just a little bit, I was at the Klima Forum in Copenhagen a year ago. And it was the first time, and you and I have talked about this. And one of the things that happened is we had world leaders. We had like the head of Tuvalu, these islands that are sinking right now underground in the Pacific Rim, where the water levels are rising. We had all kinds of indigenous people show up. We had people from the United Nations willing for the first time ever to actually interface and make this public, make it official. Al Gore was there, all the rest of it. 5 guys from Fox News, and I say Fox News as an invitation to lead you into that part of the conversation, because that is part of the plot of your play, your book, Kill the Messenger, the media's role in the fate of the world, right? That's
right.
your book.
Yeah, and the fate of the world is exactly about this issue. I mean, I look at all kinds of issues, war and peace, and the issues that.
So let me just finish this. What happened is 5 guys from Fox News showed up dressed as vegetables. So there were 1,000 of us outside. A guy dressed as a celery stalk, a carrot, a persimmon, I'm not sure what, but they started to go crazy. What happened? The UN cops, United Nations cops, sealed everything off for our protection, for safety, because they might have been terrorists. So 5 guys from Fox closed down the entire Klima Forum, and it went dead right there. And you talk about that.
That is crazy. I actually did not know about that specific thing. I know more about the coverage of Fox News, the New York Post, the Wall Street Journal, and what they have done to obscure the public's understanding after 2007, such that 40% of people are not even concerned about climate change in the United States anymore.
You know who is, Maria? The Swiss. The Swiss are concerned. Why? Because much of their tourist industry is based on people coming skiing there, and they now have closed entire ski resorts because instead of being covered in snow, they're covered in dirt. And it's not make-believe to them. It pisses them off.
Yeah. You could probably say the same thing in all parts of the world that are the most impacted.
Harrison, with you, we are talking to Maria Armoudian. Maria's book is called Kill the Messenger, the Media's Role in the Fate of the World. She's a popular KPFK host here. And give us the when and where of your show again for folks who don't get to listen 24 hours a day, people who obviously are not good radio patriots.
Well, on Sundays in Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, San Diego, at 12 noon, that's when I broadcast my program. In other markets, it's at other days and other times.
We're coming to you live from Occupy LA in downtown LA in front of the courthouse. We're going to be talking just a few moments with several different people here in Occupy LA to crystallize exactly what is going on here and why and what the purpose is. And right now we're talking to Maria Armoudian because the breaking news is that the CIA has now taken an official off-the-record, on-the-record, off-the-record, on-the-record interest in the fact that climate change is escalated out of control. And Maria has spent, as an academic, a whole lot of time in the past few years chronicling how the media has made the issue disappear. And how would you summarize, Maria, basically Fox's contribution to the conspicuous lack of decent information on this topic?
Well, I would say Fox News, the New York Post, the Wall Street Journal, and many of the Rupert Murdoch News Corporation media have consistently done 2 things. One is cast doubt on the science, on the climate science. And the second thing is to paint climate scientists as not the purveyors of knowledge that they are, but as sinister people trying to pull the wool over people's eyes, making people mistrust science itself. Science is just probably one of the few things we can trust.
Well, it's one few things that you personally can trust. I happen to like to trust it, but science says, against what Sarah Palin would say, that man and dinosaur did not, in fact, walk hand in claw 6,000 years ago. So this is a problem. You know, science probably also says that Herman Cain on Saturday, as he reported publicly, that he had a personal conversation with God himself, with God, who told Herman Cain, not maybe, not could, but must run for president. God personally. And the last time we saw that, and I went through my notes here, Maria, was January 10th of 2007. You'll see my old notes back from my Air America days where God spoke to George W. Bush. So science may have a slightly colliding opinion with that. How do we reconcile that? Because I think people probably ask you about it, thinking there's some weird spiritual component, or maybe it's not weird.
Well, you know, first of all, I just want to say one more thing about News Corporation.
Yes.
This is the paradox of all. Are you ready for this, Harrison?
Yes.
Rupert Murdoch in 2007 started making the company the most green media company on the planet, and personally decided that he was going to combat climate change. That's the paradox. Why did he do this? Why did he go completely solar in their UK operations and with the Dow Jones while they're spewing out this message? But now back to the science issue. Yeah, Harrison, science is the one thing where people keep trying to refute it, and whenever they refute it, they change the science. And it's not hearsay, and it's not something where nobody can double-check it. You have to double-check it. There has to be evidence. There has to be evidence so across the board that other scientists in other countries that don't even know the one who did the research find the exact same thing.
Well,
and it can be called science.
Journalism would also have the same calculus, which is double check it, also known as sourcing it, or maybe even have two sources. But the way science has been abolished, so has anything. It's all hearsay now. The Wall Street Journal itself publishes hearsay, but publishes it from the side of a pom-pom girl celebrating a business deal. And so nobody knows anything anymore. No wonder we're so confused, so upset, and so ticked off watching the icebergs melt while we're told they're really not melting. But I was just up in Alaska, and I thought I was going to see a glacier, and guess what I didn't see?
You didn't see a glacier?
I did not, but I saw where one had been once.
Wow.
And that, I'll tell you what, I did not to mess or get turgid. It was not appealing or thrilling to me.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Maria. We'll do a longer segment as this sort of thing develops, but I wanted to get your book out there because it is a gripping read from an academic viewpoint, which is the part I love. It is so well researched, well written, it's compelling, and it explains this stuff that is seemingly so inexplicable, certainly in the mainstream sense. You actually dot your I's, cross your T's, and 1 and 1 still equals 2 at the end of your book. And thank you for that part.
And thank you, Harrison, for all the work you're doing. Really, really, really appreciate it.
All right, honey. We will talk to you later, all right?
All right.
All right, thanks much. Her book is called Kill the Messenger, The Media's Role in the Fate of the World by Maria Armoudian. And right now, how about a little live and local traffic with Jeff Thomas, followed by, we're going to be talking to Ed Brotherton here at Occupy LA, Mario. We're going to be talking to PJ about why people are actually here, where it's going, and what this is truly all about, because you need to know. For those of you watching in Europe, for those of you listening abroad or listening online, you know that we're here, but you don't know why we think we're here. I was talking to a guy earlier in Switzerland today, and he couldn't believe that our politicians were talking to God and all the rest of this stuff in a public way. He thought it was a wink, wink. I said, no, it's news, and it's undisputed news. So we're going to get into that. But first, Jeff Thomas.
GoHarrison. Completely unsponsored, common sense commuter traffic.
23 minutes past the hour. This is your live and local traffic report here on KPFK. Let's start in San Bernardino, where there's a stopped vehicle on Highway 295 north and south. Stop traffic on the 295 northbound and southbound between Highland Avenue and the 215. It's a delay of about 5 minutes. In downtown LA on the 110 north past the 10 freeway, a crash is off the right shoulder. Traffic is slow from Adams. The 10 east is slow from the 110 to the 5. The 5 south is slow from Stadium Way to the 710. Northbound lanes have pockets of slowing from Washington Boulevard all the way to the 110. And beware, there's a cone zone in Santa Ana on the 55 north and southbound. Both this is at MacArthur Boulevard. Both on-ramps are closed until 3 p.m. If this is your destination, you can use Dyer as an alternate.
And what if it's not?
Then just keep on trucking.
All righty.
That's right. For Harrison, I'm Jeffrey Thomas on KPFK, 90.7 FM Los Angeles, 98.7 FM Santa Barbara.
Then I had a little bit of inner and outer lipo. I had a slight eyebrow lift, so they just slightly lifted it. And I had real staples in my head. And I had had my ears pinned back because I couldn't wear my hair up ever for red carpets because my ears always stuck out.
Live from Hollywood.
I had my jaw sawed down and reshaped. I had my nose corrected. I had fat injections put into my cheeks and into my lips that was taken from my legs. And I had a little bit of Botox put in my forehead. And then I had a little bit of fat injections put in both sides of each butt cheek.
Live from Hollywood. It's Harrison.
Real staples in my head.
It's just too beautiful to be true. But of course, it is Hollywood. But it is so un-Hollywood-like here in downtown LA, where we are at Occupy LA. We're also streaming the live stream video of Occupy LA 24 hours a day at GoHarrison.com. So you can always go to GoHarrison.com and see what's going on, not only here in Los Angeles, but around the world. Reminding you also that at 5 p.m. today, Pacific time, we'll be doing a special Harrison's Hangout, which is all about you getting into the room with us. We're going to be providing a few news stories, but we want you to bring in your own news stories and do a round table with us. And then we will create that video for an archive for you and everybody else to watch. We're going to start to do these Hangouts probably every day at 5. So we're beta testing this today and hoping that you can come join us. So go to GoHarrison.com at 5 this afternoon, and all the instructions, very easy there. You can use mobile phones or any other kind of new media to participate and join in and help get the news out and talk about the issues as they relate to you. Right now, I want to introduce a man by the name of Ed Brotherton. Ed is an activist. He's a filmmaker. Many artists happen to be at Occupy LA because, as you know, artists happen to be the first ones to sort of wake up to stuff as it happens. And Ed's going to explain a breaking story that's happening with Wall Street that he was particularly participatory in helping to alter the way things are going, because things are going up in Wall Street with the stock market while things are going down with the mainstream market. So let's say hi right now to Ed Brotherton.
This is Harrison on the Edge.
Harrison with you, standing next to Ed Brotherton. We are at Occupy LA, right in front of City Hall, downtown LA. There are hundreds of people here scattered around. You hear bouncy music in the background because, as somebody wisely said, I believe it was on the way to Cuba, there can be no revolution without dancing. Although the revolution isn't quite finished, the dancing has started. But like many things, people have to express themselves artistically, and you, sir, are an artist, and I'd say a lot of artists seem to be the first ones to wake up in a society.
Yeah, they're much more free thinkers, I guess you could say, and they're a lot more. It's a lot more difficult to actually put an artist in a structured sort of environment, so to speak, because they are such free thinkers. Yeah.
Now, you're here. You have also some information about something going on at Wall Street. And while we happen to be in LA, we have people listening and watching all over Earth right now. And not everyone is going to get the pulse of what's actually occurring and unraveling. So share with us what you know about.
It turned out Occupy Wall Street they started a Constitution working group about a week and a half or so ago. And actually, it was longer than that, a couple weeks ago. And there was a wonderful response. What has occurred was, because of that working group, they had come up with a statement of beliefs. It was brought before the General Assembly at Occupy Wall Street. It was consented upon, and now they have a website called OccupyTheConstitution.org. And on this website is the statement of beliefs, and you can actually go to the website and do an e-signature and sign on to it. And what I'm doing is actually mirroring here in LA what they did in Wall Street, so that we can all move together as a whole instead of as pieces of Occupy movements around the country, and actually make a true difference.
We have people coming from all over the country now. The weather is more clement here, so people are coming from the East Coast where it's 40 below zero, horrible sleet and rain, but coming to LA because it's sunny and warm. At least it was earlier today. And so I think Occupy LA is going to grow into a national seat for this kind of movement as it gets more winter-like on the East Coast. Are you hearing from various Occupy groups that this is the place to be?
Absolutely, and it's a prime place to be because Los Angeles is in a very unique opportunity. The City Hall has proposed, has actually passed a resolution declaring the occupiers here exercising their First Amendment right, which created kind of a situation because now the City Hall the City Hall cannot go back and pass a resolution to get rid of us because then they're denying their own acknowledgement that it's our First Amendment right.
Well, it's not like they haven't done that part before, but I think now everyone's watching them do something potentially stupid, and so they really can't.
We have a legal standing to be here, so it's the perfect place to occupy.
Harrison with you at City Hall, Occupy LA. We're going to continue talking to some more people here, and next we're going to find out why, the big why people are actually here, because we know that Mildred and Gladys and Horace in the middle of Michigan are told people are here to have sex or become hippies, and actually there's something deeper to the plot of that play, and you're going to find out in just a second.
Harrison.
That was beautiful, Mercy, I gotta say. 34 minutes past the hour. Harrison with you, your new best friend. You are listening to Go Harrison on KPFK 90.7 FM in Los Angeles, 98.7 FM in Santa Barbara, 93.7 in San Diego, 99.5 Central California, as well as 99.5 in New York City. We are here at Occupy LA. It is the companion to Occupy Wall Street. The brave people that showed up at Wall Street certainly sponsored, gave birth to, and spawned these amazing movements all over. This is what citizenship looks like. Yes, there are some people dancing. Yes, there are this, there is that, whatever. You'll find that anywhere you go, as a matter of fact. But most people are actually sober, assiduous, and focused here, with the exception of a handful. And it's the handful that the mainstream media focuses on to, once again, discredit the notion of people showing up. There is going to be a special teach-in, and one of the things that they're doing here at Occupy LA is a special People's University, in which, for instance, this coming Sunday at 1 p.m., this coming Sunday, they're doing Foreclosures 101. How you can avoid the bank calling the sheriff and having you kicked out of the house. The sheriff can do it with no proof whatsoever that somehow the bank is allowed to kick you out, but it is not illegal. So the sheriff simply comes around and does it. And then it's up to you to go to court and fight back for maybe your legal title. So it's going to be led by Carlos the Mailman, whom we had on a few weeks ago, who has become quite the expert at this and has a constitutional understanding of how things are connected and interconnected. He's going to be offering this Sunday afternoon at 1. It is a teach-in at the People's University here at Occupy LA. I'm also going to be going on the next couple of weeks. We're going to talk about media and messaging and how you, when you're interviewed by the media, how you can speak in a way where even if they edit you and turn it into a soundbite, you're still going to be able to get your message out. Very important. And what is the payoff for them to subvert and confute a message that you might naturally and natively create? I want to play you right now, before we go to a couple of more people at Occupy LA. This was on Bill Maher Friday. And because Herman Cain and Rick Perry and the others are faltering a bit here, because it's all about a horse race, right? The whole election. And I think, Mercy, you can still hear me in the studio. Mm-hmm. It's all about the horse race. Nothing to do with what would they actually do. Nope, it's all about, and he's coming around ahead, and he's moving around the track, he's clippity-clop. You know, that's the point. So Newt Gingrich is now taking the lead. This guy has been around forever, and Bill Maher's team put together a beautiful parody spot promoting the great and wonderful Newt Gingrich, who, with all the monkey shines of Herman Cain, the gropings, everything else going on, Newt encapsulates all bad behavior completely. So they put together a campaign spot that sounds like this.
The Republican base was a girl who thought she had it all figured out, but she had a problem.
Every time I meet a guy, he turns out to be a total creep. Either he's a drinker, or he's a phony, or he's just all hands. I must be cursed.
But now she's discovering a brand new someone who's been there all along. And everything old is new again.
I suddenly realized he's been there. He's been there all along.
Kristen Bell is the Republican base, and Newt Gingrich is the old friend who never really went away.
I'm not just settling for him. I am choosing to settle for him.
Coming this spring, it's Mr. Right. Because sometimes the best you can do is a fat, womanizing blowhard.
Well, there you have it in a beautiful and gorgeous nutshell. It is 39 minutes past the hour. Harrison with you, your new best friend. You are watching and listening to GoHarrison on KPFK 90.7 FM in Los Angeles, 98.7 FM in Santa Barbara. We are streaming live video from Occupy LA right now at GoHarrison.com, GoHarrison.com, where we also have live blogging and the rest. Today at 5, in just a few hours, we're going to be beta testing our new Harrison's Hangout, where it's all about you. You get to deliver news stories and comment on what's going on in the news in a special roundtable forum. I think we can accommodate 10, 11, 12 live people. So if you go to GoHarrison.com, all the easy instructions are there, and that video will end up being archived and available for everyone. We're going to look to do these on a daily basis. We're just beta testing it today just for you. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go to another person here at Occupy LA to help us understand the point of this, what's going on in the background, and what the future looks like. And Mario here is an actual journalist who's taken over getting the message out for Occupy LA and has some very pithy ideas. And let's hear now from Mario.
This is Harrison on the Edge.
Harrison with you, standing at City Hall in downtown Los Angeles. The Occupy movement continues to spread. We're now hearing that people want to relocate and come from colder eastern climes to a much warmer and friendlier Los Angeles. You'll note behind me, and I'm about to say hi to Mario in just a second, you'll note behind me solar cells. This is all part of the sustainability that goes on here. It's not just people gathering and getting together with a large bitch fest. There's actually a plan unfolding, solution-oriented. And Mario, one of the questions that I think is really important to ask, in as much as if somebody exclusively watches CNN or something else, they have no idea why people are here. Something to do with marijuana smoking, maybe, or an orgasm or something. But maybe you can brilliantly, do you love the challenge here?
Sure.
Brilliantly tell us in 1 minute and 12 seconds exactly why you think people are here.
Well, I think people are here for a little bit of social and economic justice. If you watch any of the corporate media, you've probably been led to believe that everything's fine and you should stick to the status quo and everything will work out just dandy. But if you take a look outside your window and drive down the street, you'll see that things are in an increasingly more crazy state of disarray. And we're here to address that. We're here to say that this thing cannot continue. It's not sustainable, as it were, but we need to make a complete about face from where we've the things that we have been doing to a new way of working so we can get more things done.
You know, Mario, there's such a paradox going on at the same time. Wall Street, back up to 12,000, down to 11,800, up, down, but up. They're doing gangbusters. Simultaneous to that, more and more tents are appearing here at Occupy LA. So there's a complete disconnect between the 1% and the 99, but it's voluptuous and real on paper. You can actually see it.
Gangster capitalism is not going to stop for regular old American people. So to leave them to their vices is to continue to let them rake in, record profits and continue buying their Lamborghinis and their multi-million-dollar homes, while the regular average Joe who just wants to survive and have a decent way of life is just, going the way of the dinosaur. Again, we cannot let this take place. So we're here to let our grievances be known to our elected officials.
Harrison with you. You are listening to GoHarrison on KPFK 90.7 FM in Los Angeles, 98.7 FM in Santa Barbara, 93.7 in San Diego, 99.5 in Central California, 99.5 WBAI New York City. And we're talking to Mario. Mario is here, one of the people instrumental in keeping this alive and growing. And as people come from other states and other areas where the climate is less hospitable, Occupy LA continues to grow. In fact, your website and the rest of it, your live stream feeds, you're getting quite a lot of people logging on now from around the world.
Absolutely. We're continuing to grow. It doesn't show any signs of stopping. One of the things that we can directly thank to that is, a good working relationship with the police, because the police are the 99% too. There's plenty of people here who may have an axe to grind with them, but overall solidarity and uniformity across to show that there are other things that we need to work on aside from sticking to our axes to grind with individuals.
Yeah, you'd never sort of imagined the day where you and the cops get that you're both the people, and that the cop's boss is trying to take away the cop's pension. So suddenly you have this aha moment. Yes, it's 10 years too late. About the year 2001, we started to get, under the Bush administration, what the plan was. They did not hide it. They outlined it clearly, but most people were still feeling rather comfortable and sedate. Now, unfortunately, people are, tilted, and the very people who used to beat up on the other people are now joining. So the union of the 99, the friend of my enemy is my friend, or is it my dog's spaniel is the, you know what I'm saying? Right. So we're seeing a complete conundrum here.
True. It's there's a lot of little idiosyncrasies about what's keeping this thing together, who's working with who, and the unions have definitely come through in a show of solidarity for us. So people are literally crawling out of the woodwork so that we can get together and show that there's more sustainable ways to get things done. It doesn't have to be directly through throwing our shoes at our elected officials. We can do it by working on group community gardens or things of that nature, showing Monsanto that we're not trying to let them totally rip off Mother Nature. So there are many, many banners that are flying here in Occupy LA. But
what's interesting, Mario, is you mentioned Monsanto and other things, and because you are inundated with people who understand what that actually means, we forget. Then there's the other 99% outside of the 99%, or maybe it is, in fact, the 99% that has no idea what you mean when you mention Monsanto, and why I just got goosebumps, horripilated, and had a reverse peristaltic surge. GMOs and all the rest of this stuff. So there's a whole education that has to be given to the 99%. The police are not online with that stuff. They're online with their basic, my pension is going bye-bye. So we realize there is a 99% education that has to probably follow in the footsteps of this thing.
Only a small group of people know about it. And one of the things we do here at Occupy is we have the People's Collective University, where we can educate people about the facts, because this isn't one or two things that we need to do to get totally back on track. No, there's a long laundry list of things that the government has allowed happen, under various administrations that has totally absconded with the American dream and things they're in. So when we talk about Monsanto, when we talk about the Federal Reserve, when we talk about corporate personhood, when we talk about mapping the human genome, or chemtrails for some individuals, if you get into that, they all
try not to.
I mean, if you look at,
but we do know that there's actual Illumina in that. That's another show, another topic. We're standing here in front of Occupy LA, right at the foot of City Hall here in Los Angeles. In fact, swing around so we can see where we are here. This is City Hall. This is where Mayor Villaraigosa and others come and hang out and make policy. And I understand that City Council and the mayor are favorable toward this encampment, maybe not by super desire, but by reaction, knowing that it would be politically really ugly if they said get off the lawn.
Very true. I mean, let's be real here. The police have a certain horse in the race of not coming in and kicking our faces in, because they have a little bit of a bad reputation and dealing with.
You're not talking about the LAPD.
Oh, well, I mean, depending on who you want to point that finger at, it could very well be them or any other group of individuals that get caught on camera hitting people. But the overall thing is that we are dealing with politicians here, and politicians may say things on the surface, and I totally hope that they're words hold true. But we always know that there's people in the background plucking strings of politicians, and that's half the reason we're here. So Occupy LA isn't about living in tents. It's about being socially aware of the facts. So just because you're not living in a tent, it takes a certain type of individual to live in a tent. If you really want to support Occupy, get aware. Read what Glass-Steagall is. Just learn, get more abreast with
what the Glass-Steagall was.
Yeah, was, exactly. Thank you. These are all things that we could use to our benefit to help raise the overall IQ of what's going on in our society today. It's very, very important. So getting out here to learn what we're about is great. Not so much living in tents. Just do what you can.
Well, here's the good news out of everything. Herman Cain personally spoke with God. And awesome. God told Herman Cain that he not should, not could, but must run for president. Oh. So if that doesn't just make you feel better.
From God's ear. I don't know. No comment on that, guy. This from God's ear. That's all I can say.
This is Harrison on the Edge.
Harrison with you. We are coming to you from Occupy LA in downtown Los Angeles. This is but one of many around the world right now, going as far as Switzerland, even hitting parts of the Asian continent or Indochina. It's amazing how this thing has spread because of austerity programs, because of the extraordinary gift of credit default swaps having moved like a tsunami across the people of Earth. And so people are waking up and standing up in solidarity. And if it weren't for the internet, being able to bridge so many strangers together, it would be very hard for these things to happen and spontaneously spring up. So it's certainly very exciting for everybody. We're going to talk in just a moment with PJ. PJ is the publicity head for Occupy LA, a very smart woman who's going to offer some really great ideas to sort of wrap up and buttonhole what this entire thing is about and where it's looking to go. But first, a little live and local traffic with Jeff Thomas.
GoHarrison. Completely unsponsored, common sense commuter traffic.
Did you say buttonhole?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Buttonhole.
Buttonhole.
Yes.
Correct.
I did, right, Mercy?
No comment.
Oh, yeah. All right, 50 minutes past the hour. This is your Go Harrison live and local traffic report on KPFK. Let's start in Riverside on the 215 South. Traffic is slow from Columbia to University. The 91 West is slow from the 60. 215 split all the way to Central. In Boyle Heights, the 5 South is slow from the 60 to Atlantic, and then again from the 605 to Rosecrans Boulevard. And finally, in downtown LA on the 110 North past the 10 freeway, that crash, which is now off to the right shoulder, is still slowing you up. Traffic is slow from Adams. Southbound side is slow from the 110 all the way to the 10 freeway. For Harrison, I'm Jeffrey Thomas on KPFK 90.7 FM Los Angeles, 98.7 FM Santa Barbara.
Lock it in. Coming up, more Harrison here on 90.7 KPFK.
God, I miss Mama Cass. 51 minutes past the hour. Mr. Haney, hear that? Harrison with you, your new best friend, coming to you from Occupy LA, downtown LA, City Hall. We're going to probably try to go live again, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. And this afternoon, in just a couple of hours at 5 p.m., we're going to be doing a special Harrison's Hangout. Simply go to GoHarrison.com, where you get to comment on today's news stories. So it's going to be a special video roundtable. All you need is an internet connection and a webcam. You can use your mobile phone or anything you want. It's going to go out absolutely everywhere. We're beta testing this technology and hope to do it on a daily basis for you so that you can talk about the news the way you see it and the way you understand it. And that's going to be called Harrison's Hangout, and that's at 5 o'clock. So simply go to GoHarrison.com for easy, cheesy, pajeezy instructions. Let's now say hi to PJ. PJ is the publicist for Occupy LA, a very smart woman. this is just going to be the middle of the conversation, but she so nails it for you to wrap this up and help make sense of the senselessness that has been the last 10 years, it seems, here in the United States.
This is Harrison on Edge.
Country. If things were to continue on the path they were on, we'll just see the factories that we've been spending, so much time worrying about in Taiwan and the various China and the various countries that have had these staggering human rights abuses going on. We'll see that sort of removal of the unions and wiping these laws that protect our workers off the books. They're trying to repeal the minimum wage. So set up those sort of factories in this country, and then we can turn around and sell our goods to India and China. Well, that's what they think is going to be, the way out of it, and keep their shareholders happy. That's not going to happen because we're waking up to what they're doing. The way out of it is by calling them at this horrible game. However, I will say this. This is not just about getting the United States righted. This is about the entire global community being respected. So it's not enough just to get our country back on track. We want to hopefully show the way for the entire globe to be able to operate and practice fair trade, fair businesses, respect, democracy, all of the things that we say that we hold so dear to us in this country. We need to be examples of it within our own country, and then the other countries follow suit. And we have ways of enforcing that and putting it into place, and it's time for us to do it now, because we'll fix ourselves here at home, but let's also be mindful we don't want to exploit others in the process.
And, we have to wrap it up, but I'll tell you, when the first banker gets thrown out of a building, the pitchforks and peasants will be running amok. So that's something to also be mindful of, that at some point somebody, and it might be somebody from, a libertarian doing it. You just don't know, but it will happen, and it will start something. So right now, everything is contained and mostly polite, with the exception of Portland, because the cops, as of today, are moving in and stirring up some stuff there.
Yeah, it's not contained and it's not polite. I'm gonna disagree with you there. Portland has a serious action going on today.
I meant here.
Oh,
here is polite and contained.
No, for the time being, yeah. It's polite and contained. I see what you're saying, and maybe it will stay that way. We're a nonviolent movement, so let's hope that it does stay that way. And we encourage everyone to come down or visit us on our website at occupylosangeles.org, our Facebook, Occupy LA, Occupy Los Angeles Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. We've got a lot of stuff happening in the upcoming weeks, and we'd love to have you all be a part of it.
Thank you so much, PJ. Thank you for giving us halogen airline landing lamps.
Oh, you're sweet.
In the darkness of reality.
You're sweet. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
This is Harrison on Edge.
And it is 56 minutes past the hour. Harrison with you as we wrap up the show from Occupy LA, downtown Los Angeles, in front of City Hall. I want to let you know about a very cool service that is offering you, if you are homeless, if you are living in a tent, if you've lost your home, you don't have a physical street address, therefore you can't get a driver's license, you can't get a job, you can't do the very things that you need to do. I've talked to my friends at West Hollywood Mail, and they're going to give you a physical street address. That's right. The P.O. Box is actually going to act as a physical street address so that you can have a place to receive mail from Bank of America and foreclosures, your attorneys, whatever, plus a telephone, a fax machine, everything you need. But they're going to treat it not like a P.O. Box, but like a physical street address so that you are a real person. And that's where we're at now. Is without having a physical street address, nobody will listen to you. So go to GoHarrison.com. I'll have more information. They've been just wonderful. I'm going to give away right now, a physical street address if you are without a home, without a place to live, and you need a physical street address so that you can function in society. society or be recognized by society as being a functioning person, simply text, if you can, 310-737-8255, 310-737-TALK. Those are your Harrison hotlines, 310-737-8255. And I'm going to give you a physical street address. You can have a phone number and all the rest of it. We're going to help you get back on your feet. More of this to come as we continue. Harrison with you. Thank you so much for joining us from Occupy LA, and we will see you on this show on KPFK next Monday from 2 to 3 Pacific. And don't forget to join us today at 5 on Harrison's Hangout at GoHarrison.com.
Another day, staring at the ceiling.